All right, great lesson today. Tell you what, I'm just going to do a little backing track. What I'd like you to do is keep aware when I'm going from the major, going from the major to the seventh. As we talked about today, when we have G major to an A minor, B minor to a C major, D major to an E minor, we're going to be able to be pulling our last chord, which is going to be an F sharp diminished. An F sharp diminished is nothing more than a F sharp, A, and a C. Meaning, when we've got the notes, we can find that chord structure by playing either an F major or an F sharp, and then altering our 3 and our 5 to go flat. When we do this, it makes a chord that naturally wants to resolve itself a half step away. So, if we're in the key of, C diminished, C, the next half step away, is a D flat or a C sharp, but enharmonically we would call it a D flat. So if we went from C to D flat, we would have a C diminished, and it resolves to a C sharp major. And that feels right. It just does. So the way that we see these kind of chord structures today is the modes that we would play over said chords, you only have 4 real chords: diminished, augmented, major, and minor. So most of the ones we do are major, can use a do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. If we didn't have the F sharp and we just had an F natural, we would have G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And that is a Mixolydian mode. Meaning, when you hear somebody playing that G7 is actually functioning as a F sharp diminished, which means you can use a flat 7 on that note. G, A, B, C, D, E, F. You'll be surprised on that F being right there, how many times you'll use that in a run. Drop that F sharp diminished right there, that's a chord structure I can pull out of there. And all those notes are inside that structure because of the mode you're using. What the Mixolydian mode does is it avoids the T, do, that 7th in every key. If we're playing in the key of D major, if I had do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, I'd be using the C sharp, the F sharp and the C sharp. If I make both of those F sharp and C sharp natural, C and F, I would have D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. And that does not sound very major now, does it? So what we do is we influence that kind of minor majory tone with that flat 7th just by using the one natural 3, the natural 5, and then the flattened 7th. Now that flattened 7th just happens to be the tone that you're looking for when you hear the drawback. It incorporates 2 of the major tones that you would have in the diminished. We'll get more into that later when these chord structures start making sense, but what I would structure is try to follow these up through G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and then G. Use 2 notes all the way up, and then try using 3. G, A, B, C, D, E. F sharp diminished is a little weird one, but you can figure it out by putting those notes in there. See how I've got my first finger here down on the 11th fret? My 12th fret is barring both the D and the A string, and then I have my pinky up on the 14th fret on the E string. And just like before, if I had this down here, I would have this. And that would resolve to a G major. So the F sharp diminished on this lower hand case Very, very simply explained, is just having these notes. When we utilize this, I'm going to play a little segment for you in this next video that I'd like you to be able to hear that and just do 1 or 2 note fills. So if I've got a see how I had all majors and then I went to G major. I'm using all the notes in the major. That T do I can use until I go to a G7. So C7 would have my I'll be able to utilize those notes. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Instead of having a C sharp right there, I would have my movement through those different notes because I know that I'm going to be going back to my D here. D, if I had a D7, utilizing this note, I have A sharp or B flat, B, and then C. So when I use that note here, I know that that note is the same as this note, which means my run I could actually start off of. And then back to my G. I'm gonna play these through. Remember, on the dominant chords, when you hear a, try thinking mixolydian and flattening that 7th in all of your chord structures. G majors, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, G major 7. G7, not G major 7, G dominant 7. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ta, do. Has that flat 7 for an F rather than an F sharp. In the key of C, we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C. So rather than having this note right here, this half step away from it, we're gonna have first fret. So if we have a C7, you can utilize that B flat right there. If we have a D7, opposed to the D major is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. If we had a T and had moved that to a ta, we would have an F note rather than an F sharp. That is incorrect. We would have a C note rather than a C sharp. So we'd have a D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, and then back to D. I'm gonna make another quick video for here.